From ProudMoney.com, is the Capital One secured credit card no longer graduating to unsecured? We're going to talk about that, but before we do, I would ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So back in September, I did a video talking about the length of time that it generally takes certain credit cards to graduate from secured status to unsecured status, meaning that when you got the secured card, you put a security deposit down, and after a certain period of time of making on-time payments, the bank looked at your account again and decided to either return your money to you and let you continue to use the card now without a security deposit in an unsecured fashion, or maybe upgrade you to a different credit card, but essentially moving you from secured to unsecured. Now, no bank guarantees that they are going to, move you from secured to unsecured, but most of them over a certain period of time, if you make your payments on time and you don't have any, bad stuff going on with other credit accounts or loans that you have, they will generally move you up from that secured card. Some of them in as little as 6 to 9 months. Some of them are going to take longer. Now, one card that has been fairly popular in the secured card space is the Capital One secured card, but I've been getting a number of comments over the last few days and even over the last couple weeks saying that the Capital One secured card no longer will graduate people from secured to unsecured. And in fact, one person even commented that she talked to someone from Capital One on the phone and they said they don't do that anymore. So I have no reason to doubt that this is true, but I'm surprised because Capital One is generally a credit card issuer that is fairly friendly to people that are trying to build credit for the first time or trying to rebuild credit, much more so than most of the other banks out there. So I'm surprised that they would do this because, of course, getting a secured card customer, even though they may be building or rebuilding credit, does mean you've already got a customer sort of in your hands versus the time and expense that it takes to find new customers. So it seems like it would be in Capital One's best interest to graduate people from their secured card to their other cards. So I'm not quite sure what the reasoning would be that they would change their their policy or change their thought process on how to handle people that have those cards. So anyway, assuming this is true and assuming that you have the Capital One secured card, what should you do going forward? How should you think about this? What should you actually, do as you're trying to continue building? My advice would be, number one is, keep the secured card if you already have it until you have had it for at least a year. And if you have made all your payments on time and you haven't done anything, wrong with any other accounts in terms of late payments on any other credit cards or, bank loans, auto loans, anything of that nature, at that year mark, I would tell you that, it's probably time for you to try to get a new unsecured card, whether that is from Capital One or maybe from Discover, the two banks that I think of as being the most likely to work with people that are, building their credit score up. It may be time to, just do an application with one of them and see how it goes. Now, you might use their pre-approval tools that they have online to see what they are telling you, about your likelihood of being approved. Or you might just want to sort of do a cold application for a credit card that you are interested in, knowing what the, limitations of your own credit history might be. Now, I know to some people this makes them feel a little afraid because they know that they are going to get a hard pull on their credit report, meaning that Capital One or Discover or anybody else that they might go after a card from is going to look at their credit report, and that is going to put a small ding on their credit score, usually of 2 or 3 points for the most part, to when you are going after new credit. However, in my mind, while this is true, that ding to your credit score is really not very big, and those are points that you can easily get back over a not very long period of time by continuing to make your payments on time. And if you are approved for the new card, then obviously you are going to have another credit account, which over time is going to help your credit score. So you're going to take a short-term hit in order to, do better over the long term in terms of building credit and building up your credit score. So if you go ahead and you are approved for that, other credit card, great. If you're not approved for that credit card, well, basically that is information, and at least you know where you stand. So okay, I think I'm going to take another 6 months probably at a minimum, and sort of garden, as they say on some of the forums, not apply for anything new, continue to try and build things up, and then I'll try again in 6 months or longer, depending on what your situation is. Now, let's say that you are, approved for the new credit card. You still have that Capital One secured card that you're sitting with. So it might seem like I've gone off on a tangent here, but I have not, because basically what I'm saying is it may be time to go after new credit because you're not going to get upgraded from that card. If you are approved for new credit elsewhere, then you could either keep that card if you don't mind them having your security deposit for longer, or you could cancel that card. And I know, again, a lot of people feel like when they are new and they're building credit, or rebuilding credit, I should say, that they don't want to close accounts that they have opened because they're worried about the average age of their accounts and all that sort of thing. And so they want that older account on the books. But you should know that those accounts do stay on your credit report for a period of time, as long as 7 years in many cases. So even if you close a credit card, that doesn't mean that you've, wiped out all the good things that you have done with that credit card. As long as you go out on good terms with that credit card company and you've made your payments and everything, it is not really going to hurt you in any major way. Now, the way the credit scoring works, it may ding you a few points, but you have to think about the fact that if you have gotten a new unsecured credit card, number one, you have a new credit line, which is going to allow you to continue to build your credit. So you essentially have the unsecured card, and making that secured card go away is not that big of a deal. But number two, now that you have the unsecured card, you're sort of in with an unsecured card, right? So the time is really to build your credit and not go after any credit so much in the short term. So that's kind of why I think it is okay to cancel that card if you have been approved for a new one. And then obviously if you are not approved, you still have that secured card, and you could continue to try and build your credit that way until you are approved for another card. But really, once you are approved for that first unsecured card, I think for most people, it is a time to be patient. And I know it is very difficult to be patient, especially if you're getting, very small credit lines, but you want to, build in some time there, because when you, start applying for more credit cards, at some point you've got credit card companies looking at you and seeing that you're applying very often, and that is especially detrimental to you if you are someone that has a lower credit score or doesn't have as much of a history there. So you want to be careful on how often you are going after credit, especially when you are newer to credit. It's no fun to be patient, but unfortunately that is the best way to go about things when you are trying to build your score. So I've gone a little off a little off on a tangent here in talking about scoring in general, but I think that is kind of the path that I would take if I were someone that had the Capital One secured card and knew that it was not going to be graduated. Now I don't know for sure that this is true. This is what I've been told by multiple people though, and so I have no reason to believe that it is not true. So that is pretty much it for this video. If you do know more in terms of if you've had any experience, talking to Capital One or trying to get your card upgraded and they haven't let you do it, I would love to hear those in the comments. If you have any other questions or comments, I'd love to see those as well. Otherwise, I thank you for watching as always. Please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews and have the latest in personal finance news and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thanks for watching. Bye.